which was transporting dangerous prisoners. They are all being moved to the plane, but only one prisoner was Special Havelock. He was wearing extra chains and a mask with glasses so that no one would understand who exactly was being transported. He even had 2 personal guards assigned to him. A little later, Havelock stealthily pulls out his tooth, in which the master key was hidden, and slowly begin to crack the lock. When suddenly there is an explosion. The engine failed. Pilots immediately request an emergency landing, while the number of prisoners is methodically decreasing. One of them steals the keys from the guard, but he also gets sucked into the hole. Before that, Havelock managed to take his keys. The guards see that he has freed himself and try to grab the fugitive, but he easily confronts several guards at once. The rear flaps fail, and all the people fly up to the ceiling. The fugitive, clinging to the seat, crawls to the pilot. But it was too late. The plane crashes in a remote area. Thanks to the snow, the landing was more or less soft, and all the surviving prisoners are avoiding. Frank, a federal marshal in Alaska, lives a normal life with his wife Sarah and son Luke. Frank tells Sarah that he was approved to buy the house they dreamed of. He has plans to retire and start a quiet, non-dangerous life. Already at work, Jane tells Frank that the firefighters called them because of some smoke in the mountains. They don't know where he is from and ask the police to fly there by helicopter and find out everything. Frank is promised to check. They quickly find the fallen helicopter. Marshals are checking the planes, but there was no one there. From the chains, Frank immediately realized that prisoners were transported in it. They see that a live officer is lying next to the plane. He warns that this is an ambush. A dozen prisoners come out of the forest and attack the marshal. Frank is strong enough to fight back, but another inmate uses a knife, severely injuring Donnie. Frank pulls out a gun and eliminates the threat with a few quick movements. Marshals drag Donnie back to the helicopter. Frank is forced to hold the line against the other prisoners. There were a lot of them. Frank turns from side to side, shooting back along the way, but the big guy jumps on him and almost eliminates Frank. Fortunately, he is helped by another survivor. However, due to the fact that he has poor eyesight, he does not understand who exactly walks in front of him. Frank helps him up and pulls the helicopter in. When all the marshals have boarded, pilot Fred begins to take off. One of the prisoners tries to grab onto the helicopter, forcing Frank to demonstrate his soul. At this time, information reached Bradford that their plane had crashed. She thinks they've been discovered, and she wants to attract Schofield because it was she who created Havelock. After a while, Bradford tells Schofield that they caught Havelock in Russia and secretly transported him to Alaska. But someone found out about this plan. They don't have jurisdiction to work in that state, which is why Schofield shouldn't tell Frank too much. Schofield called Frank with a request to secure the perimeter. It made him laugh. There is no perimeter in Alaska. The rescued officer tells Frank his story of what is happening, describing the most dangerous prisoner of Heblik. It was as if he knew that as soon as his feet touched the ground, he would be free. The police set up a search camp where they collect all available information. At least 18 prisoners are considered missing at a personal meeting with Caulfield. Havelock tries to understand why the CIA was engaged in transportation secretly from the marshals. She deftly avoids questions. Then Frank calls Havelock's name, greatly surprised by Caulfield. If she wants to cooperate with him, she will have to give information. Then Schofield says that 3 years ago there were rumors about a mole who wanted to destroy the US government from the inside. The truth is, this traitor wasn't dangerous. It was created by the CIA as part of a covert operation. The defectors were bait for agents of other countries. One of them was Havelock. To revive this program, they had to make this mole as dangerous as possible. Havelock has been working perfectly for the past 2 years. But he defected a month ago. The CIA caught him and wanted to return him to the country. But now the 9,000-kilometer escape is just the beginning. Frank is sure someone is helping Havelock. They received information that something had happened in the weather base, located 30 kilometers from the crash site. Frank doesn't think the prisoner could have gotten there, but Schofield is sure it's none of Havelock's business. When the police get there, they really find Havelock, who attacks from hiding. Schofield has ordered Havelock to be eliminated, but Frank suggests that he give up and just talk. Then Schofield lets down the dog that defused Havelock. After examining it more closely, Schofield realizes that it is not Havelock. Upon returning to the base, she checked the documents more carefully and realized that the surviving officer was not an officer. Havelock had been with them the whole time. It was as if he knew that as soon as his feet touched the ground, he was free. Frank tried to warn Sarah, but Havelock started a new stage of escape. When the marshals arrived at the hospital, Havelock and Sarah were missing. Frank blames Schofield for this. They could have shown him Havelock's picture, and then he would have identified him. And now, because of their secrets, his wife has disappeared. From that moment on, they are no longer colleagues. Suddenly, Havelock starts talking through police radios. He says Frank's wife is still alive, which means he owes him. And he asks for a favor to become his contact, and together they will change the world. The next day, the family meets one of the prisoners of the cycler. He breaks his prosthesis, where the money was hidden, and asks for help in exchange for money. All he needs is for them to take him to the police. As for the reasons for Havelock's capture, he managed to steal a top-secret document. It stores data about all future and old targets, their offices, and if he publishes it, a disaster will happen. A search team from Seattle, led by Cole, came to Frank's aid. He had to find out why Sickler had given up without a fight. Havelock didn't waste any time. He understands that Frank won't be coming home today, which is why he was hiding there. I even recorded Sarah's appeal, in which she transmits a request to find a prisoner from Place 12 and accuse him of her. This was Sickler. In the past, Sickler worked for any criminal organization. Not only worked, but also stole from them, for which he lost his hands. Frank wants to find out from him how he knows Havelock, but he is not eager to cooperate. He has other plans. And he'll be out of here before the sun goes down. Sarah got tired of being held hostage and attacked Havelock herself. She even stole a gun from him. Havelock calmly approaches and takes away the gun, knocking out Sarah. A little later, Frank takes the man under the guise of a Sickler to the exchange point. But it was a trap. There is no Havelock here. He intercepted the car that was transporting the plane's black box and left in it the keys for Frank, Sarah's keys. One prisoner was caught tomorrow, but a whole group was still operating in the forest, which met Havelock. He pretended to be a tourist, which is why he was taken hostage. So fortunately, there was a real tourist group next to them, which they also captured. And the police found the place where they were holding Sarah and released her. When the prisoners realized that there was a man in front of them who was in a bag on the plane, Havelock attacked them and neutralized them. In order not to die, Bugey offers to become their leader to him. He contacts Frank on the radio and says that he gave Sarah on purpose since Frank fulfilled his request. And he has a new one, the password of the Schofield account from the CIA. If she doesn't give it, he will eliminate the hostages and shoot the prisoner so that they believe him. The police realized where the signal was coming from. Frank went there personally. Havelock wonders if Sarah knows about his secret in the basement. He can help him. These words clearly surprised Frank. Havelock adds that he has this secret well hidden. While they were talking, Schofield attached the car to a helicopter, which easily lifts it. The prisoners tried to escape, but they were quickly caught. The helicopter put the car at the right point, where an armed detachment was waiting for them. But Havelock is not afraid of them and literally throws the car off. Where it breaks through the glass, it avoids. But this is where the first part comes to an end. If you want to find out who is behind the plane crash and how the story ended, write about it in the comments and be sure to subscribe, so as not to miss the sequel. Well, we'll be back very soon. Bye.